So the first thing I need to correct is just to have a more accurate view of what our normals are actually going to be doing. At the moment, what we're getting is, if we take a look over at our modifiers on the mirror modifier, you can see that we're actually merging in the center there, and that's smoothing those normals off, which is not really how it's going to bake. So I'm going to turn off that option there, and then we should be able to see that seam down the side. Next, I'm going to tab into edit mode, select everything with the A key, and then press U to unwrap and see what happens. So we're getting something showing up, and we've also now got the color grid showing up on that geometry as well. So there's a couple of things that I want to change about this. I want to add some sharpness at the top here, so I'm going to alt right click that edge loop and then go Control E and then mark that as sharp. And also we're going to go Shift G, and this is going to allow us to select similar attributes that we might have already selected. So I've selected a load of sharp edges, so I'm going to select the rest of the sharp edges, and you can see that that is now selected these 30 edges that we've got on the model. And then I'm going to mark those as seams. So I'm going to go Control E and now mark seam. So let's grab everything again by pressing A to select everything. And then I'm going to go and press U and then unwrap again. And then we get this. So this isn't really what I want, because this is kind of curving the geometry round. What I'd like instead is to have something a little bit more like we had with the cable, where we had each face kind of uniformly arranged. To do that, I'm going to do that probably in chunks. So I'm going to take a look from the front orthographic view, and let's grab all these faces here. Let's start with the main section really. So press A to deselect everything, and then B to border select across these. And then this is our active face at the moment, which is fine. So we can go U and then follow active quads, and then a length average is fine. And it's kind of started to try and do something, but because of the way that the UVs were already laid out, it's taken that into consideration with its calculation. So first of all, I'm going to go U and then reset those UVs, and then try that operation again. So U and then follow active quads, and then the length average is fine. And then you can see now we're getting something. So let's bring that into position. I think this is off on its side. If we press Z, you can see what I actually want is to rotate this around minus 90 degrees. And then I'm going to press S and then X just to scale all those in. Let's move them into position about there, and then let's scale these much further up on the y-axis. So in fact, I'm just looking to try and get about a square representation of the texture on the majority of the model, just so that it's fairly uniform. Then we can start to scale this up with the S key, and then that should be about right. So this is a little oversized at the moment, but it's reasonable for what I need it to do at the moment. Then I'm going to alt right click this face loop up here, press E, and then this is still curving round. So what I'm going to do is go U in the main 3D view, follow active quads, and then length average. In fact, I've just forgotten to reset them first, and then follow active quads, and then OK. And let's just rotate these by 90 degrees as well, scale these down. Let's just put them roughly into position. So these are upside down, as we can see by the letters there. So I'm going to go rotate 180. And then let's just bring them into position, so something like that. They don't have to be exact, but I do want them to have a little break in between these two islands. So something like that should be fine. And then let's grab these faces up here. So one on the numpad just to do the selection from the front orthographic view. Press B to border select across those. And then this time I'm going to try not to forget. So I'm going to go U and then reset, and then go U and then follow active quads, and then OK. And then let's scale these down to position. Let's press Z, take a look at what we're getting here. I'm going to rotate that by 90 degrees. In fact, let's rotate that 180 because it's now upside down. And then just scale them into position as well, something like that. And then the very top is fairly straightforward. We can just unwrap that by pressing E in the 3D view. And then let's just scale that down. In fact, let's scale that down to be about half of what we can see there. And then let's take a look at the bottom bit here. So let's press 1 on the numpad to take another look from the front orthographic, and then B to border select across these, U to reset, and then U to follow the active quads, and let's go OK, and let's press G to bring those down, and then we want to rotate these 90 degrees, minus 90 degrees in fact, and then S to scale those down, put those towards the bottom, down here. Let's take a look in the textured solid view that we've got. Try and line these up a little bit better, something like that. So we can then just move them down a little bit because we're going to make space for the belt. That's going across there, and then let's select one of the faces, Control L. Now what's happened there is, if we press T, we can see we're limited by the seams. So we can take that off and it'll select all the link geometry not limited by seams. So it's selected the whole cone. But if we select that on, we're actually getting the parts that we want. So now I'm going to press U to reset those, and then U again, and then follow active quads. Okay. This is giving us these two separate parts to play with. So I'm going to just press A to deselect and see what we've got actually selecting here. So I'm just going to press G to just move those out the way, and then also G to move this part out the way. And let's just take a look at what those two faces are. So they're over on the side there. Okay, so that's going to be fine. Let's press B to border select across those, and then I can see that everything is upside down there, so I'm just going to rotate that by 180 degrees. Press G to scale these somewhere into position, so just S like that. And let's just check the alignment of everything. Everything seems to be lining up, because when I select these edges you can see the corresponding edges are there. Same with everything that we've got up there. And then this is going to be slightly different right at the top, but we've almost got these faces right into position as well. So I'm just going to scale those slightly, just grab these and just tweak the positions of those slightly. It doesn't have to be precise though. And then I'm going to grab them all and then just scale those down and then just place them on the far left side of the texture map, something like that. Let's just grab these and just put it just towards the top there like that. So now we just need to take a look at this buckle. So for that, I'm going to just add some extra seams and some extra sharpness while we're at it. So I'm going to go Control E and mark that as a seam, and then Control E and mark that sharp. And then the same for this edge ring round here. I'm going to mark these as a seam and as well as being sharp. So let's take a look at the way that this interior face might unwrap. So this is going to need an extra couple of seams as well. So I'm going to go Control Alt and right click on that edge ring there, and then go Control E, mark seam, and then mark them as sharp as well. So let's just grow that selection till we have those pieces done, and then press, let's take a look at what we've actually got, because we've got maybe those as well. So I'm going to do that in face select mode, and then that's cleared out any selection that we had within the buckle of the main cone shape that we've already unwrapped, and then press E to unwrap this. Let's take a look at that, and that's about right. That's the sort of thing that I'm looking for. But I just want to try and completely align the UVs on this, similar to how we did with those little wedgy grip things at the bottom of the base of the cone. So just going to grab these. In fact, let's do this without the mesh selection in sync so we don't go crazy now. So go Control L to grab all these, and then I'm going to press W and then align auto. Same with these three, align auto. Same with this. Same with this. So I'm just going to go with Shift R now just to repeat the commands. So this edge, Shift R, Shift R. Let's do the same with the sides, Shift R, Shift R, Shift R. And then grab these 1, 2, 3 edges, Shift R and then Shift R. Same with these, Shift R across there, Shift R across there, and then same across here, just to get these all completely aligned. Just to reiterate, basically I don't want to have any stepping in the low pixel resolution that we might have, because that might show up as much more obviously a kind of an issue in the texture map there. So this is just kind of trying to protect from that. So I'm just going to scale those inside just to try and be economical with the space a little bit, and then I'm just going to grab them all and then scale them into position to something around about there. So that's the main cone shape unwrapped. Finally, we've just got our main camera object itself to unwrap.